Have you ever felt like the entire year flew by, yet you still haven't lived the life you truly wanted? If there were a reset button for life, would you be bold enough to press it and rewrite everything from the start? The good news is, you are the author of your story, and the next chapter begins the moment you choose to write it. The end of the year is approaching quickly, and as always, we're left wondering where the time went. But instead of just counting down to midnight, what if we saw this moment as the beginning of something new? A clean slate to reset, rethink, and redesign the life we truly want. I've always believed that life doesn't respond to our emotions. It responds to our philosophy, the ideas we choose to believe in and live by. Think about it. How often do we drift through our days, weeks, and even years, stuck in the same habits, the same thinking, the same excuses that keep us exactly where we are? But what if this year you decided to rewrite that script? Because here's the truth. Every meaningful transformation begins with one decision. A decision to see differently. A decision to act with intention. A decision to live more boldly. Success, after all, isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. And the most beautiful part? You get to write that story. You get to decide whether this will be the year you grow stronger, more focused, and more committed to the life you dream about. But let's be honest, wishing for change doesn't make it happen. Real change requires a set of principles, a clear roadmap, and consistent action to anchor you through the process. That's why I want to share these 10 rules with you. They're not abstract ideas or motivational fluff. They're tools, practical, grounded, and ready for you to use starting today. Not just to improve this year, but to transform your entire life. So are you ready? Ready not just to hear the rules, but to live them? Because nothing works unless you work it. Rule number 1. Take full responsibility for your life. This is where everything begins. Every breakthrough, every transformation. Let me ask you, who's in charge of your life? Who's making the decisions each day? It's tempting to point fingers, isn't it? The economy, the government, your upbringing, your environment? It's easy to blame something or someone else. But here's the truth. Until you take full responsibility, nothing changes. Responsibility means realizing that you and only you have the power to redirect your life. It means owning your mistakes, your failures, and even the things that weren't entirely your fault. Why? Because when you take responsibility, you take back control. Think about it. If something or someone else is responsible for your situation, then they have the power, not you. But the moment you say, "It's on me," you reclaim the wheel of your own life. Years ago, I met a man struggling financially. He had a long list of reasons why he couldn't get ahead. His boss didn't like him. His industry was difficult. He wasn't born into money. He had every excuse lined up. I asked him a simple question. "So, what are you doing about it?" He looked confused. "What do you mean?" he asked. I replied, "What steps are you taking to improve your skills? To add value? To create opportunities for yourself?" That one question changed everything for him. He realized waiting for someone else to fix his situation was never going to work. When you take responsibility, you stop being the victim and start becoming the creator. You stop waiting for life to happen. You start making life happen. And here's the magic. Responsibility is empowering. When you embrace it, you stop wasting energy on blame and start investing that energy into building solutions. Now let's be honest, responsibility isn't always comfortable. It requires truth. It means taking a long, hard look in the mirror. It means admitting where you've fallen short, where you've let yourself down. And that's not easy, but it's absolutely necessary. Because when you finally take ownership of your life, you also take ownership of your potential. You begin asking bigger questions. What am I truly capable of? What could I achieve if I gave everything I've got? My heart, my focus, my discipline, So here's your challenge. Starting today, stop making excuses. Stop blaming your circumstances, other people, or even bad luck. In the previous part, we uncovered the power of taking full responsibility for your life, how it shifts you from a passive observer to an active creator of your future. And once you've taken ownership, the next logical step is this: decide where you're going. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening?" ask yourself something far more powerful. What can I do now? What's within my control? What step can I take today to move forward? Because that's how change begins, not with what others do, but with what you do. You can't control every circumstance, but you can always control how you respond. And your response, it shapes the outcome. So own it fully, and you'll soon realize just how much power has been in your hands all along. Rule number 2, set clear goals and write them down. If personal responsibility is the foundation of transformation, then goals are the map that guides the journey. A map gives you direction. It helps you avoid getting lost. It keeps you from drifting through life aimlessly. Without clear goals, you're like a ship without a sail, tossed around by the winds of circumstance, hoping something good will happen. But hope alone doesn't move you forward. Clarity does. And clarity, when paired with action, is unstoppable. Ask yourself this: what do you really want? Not what you think you can get. Not what others expect of you. What do you want deep down? The clearer you are about your desires, the sharper your focus becomes. And the sharper your focus, the greater your power. Clarity creates power, because you can't hit a target you can't see. I learned a powerful truth years ago. Writing your goals down is like planting a seed in the soil of your mind. When you write a goal, you move it from a passing thought into a tangible commitment. It's no longer just a wish. It becomes a declaration. And that's when your brain starts working with you. You begin to notice ideas, people, opportunities, and tools that were always there, but now you see them through the lens of your goal. I once met a young man at a seminar. He was full of ambition, but lacked direction. I asked him if he had written down his goals. He said, "No, I just keep them in my head." I challenged him to grab a piece of paper and write down 5 goals he wanted to achieve in the next 12 months. He hesitated, but he did it. A year later, he found me again, tears in his eyes. He had achieved 4 out of the 5 goals. Why? Because the simple act of writing them down forced him to focus, and that focus turned into action. But let's be honest, goals alone won't change your life. You need a plan. Break each big goal down into smaller, more manageable steps. Ask yourself, what can I do today, this week, this month? The key is consistency. It's not about massive effort once in a while. It's about steady, committed action over time. Progress builds like compound interest. Small daily wins eventually become major breakthroughs. Review your goals regularly. Don't just write them and toss them in a drawer. Keep them in front of you. Read them daily. Visualize them often. Remind yourself why they matter, because that's what keeps your energy focused and your motivation alive. And here's something important. Don't be afraid to dream big. Set goals that inspire you, goals that challenge you, goals that even scare you a little. Because the point of a goal isn't only to achieve it, it's to become the person who's capable of achieving it. When you write down a goal, you're saying, "This is who I want to become. This is the life I choose to build." So don't wait for the perfect moment. Take some time today to write down your goals, because clarity fuels momentum, and momentum is what turns a vision into your reality. And now that we've laid the foundation and charted the course, it's time to talk about the fuel that drives it all forward. Earlier, we explored how clear goals give you direction and how writing them down turns your vision into focused action. But goals alone aren't enough. If goals are the map, then discipline is the engine that keeps you moving, especially when motivation fades. Rule number 3, develop discipline as your greatest ally. Let's be honest, motivation is a great spark, but it burns out quickly. Discipline, on the other hand, is what sustains the fire. It's the habit of doing what needs to be done, even on the days you don't feel like it. And here's a simple truth. Discipline is built, not born. No one wakes up one day naturally disciplined. It's a skill you develop over time, one small decision at a time. The best way to start building discipline is to begin with small, manageable habits. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to change everything overnight. Choose one area of your life where you want to improve. Maybe it's waking up earlier. Maybe it's reading 10 minutes a day. Whatever it is, commit to it consistently. That's how momentum begins. Now here's the secret most people overlook. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you strengthen your discipline muscle. You build trust with yourself, and that trust becomes the fuel for your confidence. On the flip side, every time you break a promise to yourself, that muscle weakens. That's why it's so important to set realistic commitments. It's far better to start small and succeed than to aim too high, stumble, and give up entirely. Discipline also requires a powerful why. Why are you doing what you're doing? What deeper reason lies beneath your goal? When you connect your actions to a meaningful purpose, discipline becomes easier. Purpose gives discipline a reason to show up, even when you're tired, discouraged, or tempted to quit. Of course, let's be real, there will be setbacks. Discipline doesn't mean you'll never fall off track. It means you don't stay off track. When you slip up, and you will, don't let it turn into a pattern. Forgive yourself, learn from it, and get back on course. The goal is progress, not perfection. Always remember this. Discipline isn't a punishment. It's a gift you give yourself. It's the path to the life you truly want. It's what transforms your dreams from wishes into reality. So make the decision today to treat discipline not as a burden, but as your most loyal ally. Start small. Stay consistent. Watch what happens. Because as you move forward on your journey, there's another force that will shape your success just as deeply as discipline: your environment. Previously, we talked about the importance of discipline, how it fuels progress when motivation fades. But even the most disciplined person can be dragged down if they're constantly surrounded by the wrong people. That's why your environment matters more than you might think. Rule number 4, surround yourself with the right people. Success is rarely a solo mission. It's deeply influenced by the people you allow into your life. The truth is, your relationships either lift you up or weigh you down. They either expand your thinking or shrink your dreams. They either challenge you to grow or keep you stuck exactly where you are. So take a moment to think. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Because whether you realize it or not, you're becoming more and more like them. Their habits, their values, their mindset, it all rubs off on you. If your circle is filled with driven, focused, and positive individuals, you'll likely develop those same traits. But if your circle is full of negativity, excuses, or complacency, that influence will start to seep into your thoughts and behavior. Mr. Schoaf once told me, if you want to change your life, change your circle. At first, I didn't fully understand what he meant. But when I looked around and evaluated the people I was spending the most time with, it became clear. I had surrounded myself with those who were content with average, people who made excuses, instead of progress, who talked about dreams but never acted on them. And guess what? That mindset was holding me back too. Now, this doesn't mean you need to cut ties with everyone, but it does mean being intentional with who gets your time and energy. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. Seek out those who inspire you, people who challenge you to aim higher, to think bigger, and to become better. I remember working with a young entrepreneur who had big goals but was stuck in place. As we talked, I realized his friends were constantly planting seeds of doubt. "That idea is too risky," they'd say. "Why don't you just play it safe?" And slowly, that negativity eroded his confidence. I encouraged him to shift his environment, to find mentors, peers, and fellow entrepreneurs who actually believed in what he was building. Within a year, his business had grown beyond his expectations. The difference? His circle lifted him up instead of dragging him down. So who should you surround yourself with? First, seek out mentors, people who are a few steps ahead of you, who have achieved the kind of success you aspire to. Their wisdom can help you avoid costly mistakes and accelerate your growth. Second, build a circle of peers, people who share your hunger for growth and are committed to walking the journey with you. There's something powerful about growing together. And third, don't shy away from people who challenge your thinking. It's easy to surround ourselves with those who always agree. But real growth happens when someone helps you see from a new perspective, when they push you to question, reflect, and evolve. Now let's talk about the other side of the coin. Sometimes, to grow, you have to create distance. There may be people in your life, friends, even family, who constantly complain, criticize, or discourage you. It's hard, especially when the relationship is long-standing. But remember, your environment shapes your destiny. Protect your mindset by limiting your exposure to persistent negativity. And don't forget, be the kind of person others want in their circle too. Bring value, uplift, encourage, support. Relationships are a two-way street. When you give your best, you attract the best. So ask yourself, are the people in your life helping you grow or holding you back? If the answer leans toward the latter, it's time to make a change. Because success isn't just about what you do. It's also about who you do it with. And that brings us to one of the most underestimated yet most powerful forces in achievement: consistency. Rule number 5. Master the art of consistency. Consistency may not sound flashy. It doesn't grab headlines. It doesn't come with dramatic before and after pictures. But make no mistake, consistency is the quiet champion of success. It's the small, often unnoticed actions repeated day after day that compound into extraordinary results over time. Think about it for a second. One workout won't get you fit. One healthy meal won't transform your body. One focused work session won't build your dream career. But what happens when you do those things consistently, not just for a week, not just for a month, but across weeks, months, and years? That's where the magic happens. That's where progress becomes visible. Success, my friend, isn't about extreme bursts of energy or intensity. It's about the quiet power of showing up again and again and again, even when motivation fades. And that's the problem for most people. They start off excited. They hit the gym for a couple of weeks and then stop. They chase their goals for a month only to abandon them when results don't show up quickly. Why? Because they expect instant payoff. But here's the truth. Great things take time, and consistency is the bridge between effort and outcome. Once heard a story about a man who wanted to cut down a massive oak tree. Every day he would walk out and give it 5 swings with his axe. Just 5. No more, no less. At first, nothing happened. The tree stood strong, unmoved. But day after day, week after week, those 5 steady swings added up. And eventually that great oak came crashing down. Not because of one powerful strike, but because of consistent effort applied over time. This principle applies to every area of your life. Want to build wealth? Save and invest consistently. Want to improve your health? Exercise and eat clean consistently. Want to grow your skills? Practice and study consistently. It's not about doing it perfectly. It's about doing it regularly, even when it's inconvenient, even when you're tired, even when you'd rather not, especially then. So how do you build real consistency? First, start small. Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Pick one habit you want to build and give it your full attention. Keep it simple. Keep it manageable. Second, create a routine. Habits thrive when there's structure. Decide when, where, and how you'll do the activity. Then show up at that time. Every day, no excuses. Third, track your progress. There's something deeply motivating about watching your streak grow. Even marking a check on a calendar or crossing off a list gives your brain a sense of accomplishment. And when you celebrate those small wins, they become fuel that keeps you moving forward. But let's be honest, there will be days when you just don't feel like it. When life gets messy. When progress feels slow or invisible. That's when consistency matters the most, because doing something, even if it's small, is always better than doing nothing. It's not about perfection, it's about momentum. And here's the beauty of it all. Consistency compounds. Like interest in a savings account, your small efforts, when added up, grow into something far greater than you expected. One day, you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come. Not because you sprinted, but because you never stopped walking. So make that commitment to yourself. Whatever your goal is, whatever dream you're chasing, show up for it. Every single day. No excuses, no exceptions. Because success? It doesn't come from doing something once. It comes from doing it consistently. And now that you've made consistency your ally, it's time to master the next essential ingredient to success. Managing your time with clarity and intention. In the last part, we talked about the power of surrounding yourself with the right people, because who you walk with often determines how far you go. But now let's shift the spotlight onto something just as critical: how you use your most limited, non-renewable resource, your time. Rule number 6. Learn to manage your time wisely. Time is life's most valuable currency. Unlike money, which you can lose and earn back, or skills, which you can always improve, time, once it's gone, is gone forever. Every minute that passes is a moment you'll never get back. That's why how you manage your time directly determines the kind of life you end up living. Ask yourself, are you spending your time or investing it? Are you using it to build your dreams, or letting it slip quietly through your fingers while you're distracted, overwhelmed, or simply unintentional? Here's a truth we all share. No one gets more than 24 hours in a day. The difference between those who thrive and those who fall short isn't about having more time. It's about using the time they do have more effectively. Time management isn't just about being busy. It's about being productive. It's not about filling every second with something. It's about filling your time with the right things. One of the best lessons I ever learned was this: don't prioritize your schedule. Schedule your priorities. In other words, don't let your day fill up with whatever shows up. Be intentional. Decide what matters most and build your day around those things. Too often, people spend hours checking emails, attending unnecessary meetings, or saying yes to every request. And before they know it, the day is over, and their most important goals are still untouched. Sound familiar? Here's what changed everything for me: clarity. You have to know what truly moves the needle in your life. What are the 2 or 3 key actions that, if done consistently, will create the biggest impact in your work, your relationships, your growth? Once you know what matters most, protect it. Give those tasks your best energy, your highest focus, and your prime time. So how do you do that? First, plan your day the night before. Take 10 to 15 minutes to write down your top 3 priorities. When you wake up, you won't waste time deciding what to do. You'll already be clear and ready to act. Second, use time blocks. Set aside focused chunks of time to work on specific tasks. During those blocks, shut off distractions. No notifications, no multitasking. You'll be amazed at how much more you get done when your brain isn't constantly switching gears. Third, learn to say no. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that is. You don't have to attend every meeting, accept every invitation, or respond to every message immediately. Protect your time like the priceless asset it is. And here's one more thing people often forget. Rest is productive. You can't manage your time well if you're constantly exhausted. Recovery, whether it's sleep, quiet time, or unplugging from work, isn't indulgent, it's essential. Schedule rest like you schedule your work, and guard it just as fiercely. So ask yourself honestly, how are you spending your time? Are you investing it into the things that truly matter, or letting it drift away without intention? Time is a gift, and once it's gone for good. Use it wisely, because when you combine time management with the right mindset, everything changes, and that leads us directly to the next powerful shift. In the previous section, we explored the silent power of consistency, how showing up every day, even in small ways, creates massive momentum over time. But if consistency is the habit that keeps you moving, then attitude is the lens that shapes how you see the road ahead. Rule number 7. Cultivate a positive attitude. Your attitude is one of the most powerful tools you have. It colors how you view challenges, how you interact with others, and ultimately, how you experience life itself. While you can't control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you respond. And that response, more often than not, starts with your mindset. Think about it. Two people can face the exact same situation, losing a job, missing an opportunity, facing rejection. One sees it as the end, the other as a chance to begin again, stronger. What's the difference? It's not the circumstance, it's the perspective. I once heard a simple but profound story about a shoe company. They sent 2 salesmen to a remote village. The first one reported back, "There's no opportunity here, no one wears shoes." The second one sent back a message filled with excitement. "This is a gold mine, no one here wears shoes yet." Same environment, same facts. Completely different outcome because of attitude. That's why they say, your attitude determines your altitude. A positive attitude won't magically guarantee success, but a negative attitude will almost certainly guarantee failure. Why? Because negativity blinds you to opportunities. It drains your energy, narrows your thinking, and attracts more negativity. On the other hand, a positive mindset fuels creativity, resilience, and momentum. It keeps you looking for solutions when others stop at problems. But let's be clear, cultivating a positive attitude doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It doesn't mean ignoring reality or forcing fake optimism. It means deliberately choosing, to focus on possibilities rather than limitations, on lessons instead of setbacks, and on what's going right instead of only what's going wrong. So how do you build this kind of mindset? Start by beginning and ending each day with gratitude. Take a few moments every morning or night to reflect on what's working in your life. What are you truly thankful for? Gratitude shifts your attention from what's lacking to what's abundant. And it's hard to stay negative when your heart is filled with appreciation. Next, protect your mental environment. Be mindful of the content you consume, the media, the conversations, the thoughts you allow to take root in your mind. If you constantly feed your brain with negativity, fear, and gossip, guess what your mindset will produce? But if you nourish it with uplifting books, powerful affirmations, and inspiring stories, you'll start thinking bigger, bolder, and more hopefully. Maintaining a positive attitude takes effort, especially when things are hard. It's easy to smile when life is smooth. But true growth happens when you choose to stay hopeful in the middle of the storm. Just remember, storms don't last forever. The sun always returns, and your attitude will determine how you endure, until it does. There's another truth worth remembering. Your attitude is contagious. When you maintain a positive outlook, you don't just uplift yourself, you inspire others. You become a light in the room, a source of energy and encouragement. And when you surround yourself with others who carry that same energy, you create a powerful environment where success multiplies. So today, make the choice. Decide to see the good. Focus on solutions. Speak life, lead with optimism, and carry hope even in the face of difficulty. Because when your attitude is aligned with possibility, your life starts moving in that direction too. And speaking of direction, there's one more mindset that will take your growth to the next level. It's the mindset of lifelong learning. In the last section, we explored how a positive attitude can become your compass through life's storms, guiding your thoughts, shaping your resilience, and influencing everyone around you. Now let's pair that mindset with one of the most powerful habits you can develop: the commitment to never stop growing. Rule number 8. Commit to lifelong learning. If there's one constant in this ever-changing world, it's that nothing stays the same for long. Technology evolves, industries transform, life shifts, and the people who thrive are those who keep growing mentally, emotionally, and intellectually. Lifelong learning is like sharpening your axe. If you're constantly improving your skills, expanding your knowledge, and challenging your thinking, you're always ready to face whatever life throws your way. It's not about collecting degrees or academic titles. It's about becoming a better version of yourself, day after day. Now let's be real. Your education doesn't end when you graduate. In fact, that's just the beginning. As Jim Rohn used to say, formal education can make you a living, but self-education can make you a fortune. What you learn after you think you know it all. That's what changes everything. Mr. Schoaf once told me, "Work harder on yourself than you do on your job." At first, I didn't quite get it, but he explained, when you grow as a person, when you become wiser, stronger, more capable, you bring more value not just to your job, but to your relationships, your business, your community, and your future. So, let me ask you, are you investing in your mind right now? Are you reading books, listening to podcasts, taking courses, attending seminars, seeking out mentors? Because here's the truth. The more you learn, the more you earn. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about wisdom, confidence, clarity, and opportunity. I once met a man who had built a solid career, but then hit a plateau. He was stuck, frustrated. And when I asked, "What are you learning right now?" he paused. Honestly, not much. That was the problem. He had stopped learning, and as a result, his growth and his success had stalled. When he committed to reading a book a month, attending workshops, and learning new skills, his momentum returned, and his career soared. That's the beauty of lifelong learning. It compounds. Each new insight builds on the last. Every new skill creates new opportunities. Over time, those small efforts explode into exponential growth. But let's make one thing clear. Don't learn just for the sake of learning. Apply what you learn. Use it. Knowledge without action is just trivia. Real growth happens when you take what you've learned and put it into motion. So how do you commit to lifelong learning in a practical way? Start by making it a daily habit. Even 10-15 minutes a day can transform your mind over time. And don't just focus on professional skills. Grow in every area: health, relationships, emotional intelligence, financial literacy. The more well-rounded your growth, the more equipped you'll be to navigate life's complexities. Also, learn from others. Surround yourself with people who are wiser, more experienced, or more knowledgeable than you. Ask questions. Listen with intent. Be open to feedback. Everyone knows something you don't, and that mindset alone can accelerate your growth faster than you imagine. Lifelong learning also requires humility. It means being willing to say, "I don't know yet." It means staying curious, letting go of pride, and being okay with starting as a beginner. And with how fast the world is changing, new technologies, industries, and trends emerging every year, staying still is the same as falling behind. So here's your challenge. Decide today that you'll never stop learning. Feed your mind, strengthen your skills, stay curious. Because when you learn more, you become more. And when you become more, you can do more. And speaking of growth, there's one skill that ties everything we've talked about together. One, mindset that helps you thrive through every twist and turn life brings your way. In the last section, we discovered how committing to lifelong learning keeps your mind sharp and your opportunities expanding. But learning alone isn't enough. To truly grow and thrive, especially in a world that's always changing, you need one more essential mindset: adaptability. Rule number 9. Embrace change and adaptability. Life is made up of seasons. Just when you think you found your rhythm, something shifts. The job market evolves. A relationship changes. The path you thought was certain suddenly turns into unfamiliar terrain. And that's exactly why adaptability is so powerful. It helps you flow with change instead of fighting it. Let me ask you this: how do you react when change knocks on your door? Do you resist it, fear it, try to hide from it? Or do you lean in with curiosity, with courage, and with an open mind? Here's the truth: change is inevitable. Growth is optional. I've met so many people who get stuck because they cling to what's familiar, even when it no longer serves them. They fear change because it's uncomfortable. But ironically, staying the same can be far more dangerous than adapting. The only thing constant in life is change. And when you resist it, you create unnecessary struggle. I know, change can be scary. It pulls you out of your comfort zone and drops you into the unknown. But that's also where the magic happens. In those uncertain, uncomfortable moments, you discover your greatest strengths, your boldest ideas, and possibilities you never imagined. It's in the discomfort that transformation begins. The key is to focus on what you can control. You might not be able to change the event, the outcome, or the people involved, but you can control your response. You can control your mindset. You can choose to ask, "What is this here to teach me?" Or, "How can I grow through this?" Instead of, "Why is this happening to me?" Adaptability also means being flexible. Life rarely follows a perfect plan, and that's okay. The goal isn't to control every step. The goal is to stay committed to your destination while being open to adjusting the route. Think of a tree in a storm. The rigid trees break. The flexible ones bend with the wind and survive. You have to be willing to pivot, to shift strategies without abandoning your values or your vision. So how do you develop adaptability? First, adopt a mindset of curiosity. Instead of fearing change, explore it. Ask questions. Try new things. Stay open to different perspectives. Second, build resilience. Learn how to bounce back from setbacks without letting them define you. Resilience isn't about avoiding failure. It's about using failure as a stepping stone. Third, stay proactive. Don't wait until change forces your hand. Keep an eye on trends in your industry, your relationships, your personal life, and prepare. Anticipate what's coming and be ready to respond with clarity instead of panic. And here's something powerful to remember. Sometimes the changes we fear most end up leading us exactly where we're meant to be. What if that career detour leads you to your dream job? What if that tough ending opens the door to a stronger beginning? What if the failure you're dreading is actually planting the seed for your greatest success?